Good morning. The sky is magic this morning. Amazing light. Who knows how much of the sun disk we'll see in this live stream. The sun must rise. It cannot do otherwise. But it can be that we don't see it. Some serious cameras out here this morning. I'm going to take you over to a place where we've been before, but not very often. Today we have an interesting subject. It's not completely new at this time of the year. It recurs. Something that's actually not very comfortable for us, but it's deeply related to the whole, as uncomfortable as it is. Faith in God has opened up the whole mystery of love. God is love. And love requires freedom. You see, the sun doesn't have freedom. The sun is compelled to rise. It cannot not rise. It cannot do otherwise. It might but be visible to our eyes. But when we don't see it, it does not lie. It's amazing, the gift of freedom. And love requires liberty. Wow, I'm very impressed here. I haven't been here for a while. Look at these steps are washed away. Can you believe it? Chunks of concrete in the meek little lake that's the Sea of Galilee. It can get pretty violent. Wow. I used to come here a lot to swim, but I've been going over to the other side. But look at this, it's all pounded away by the that's unbelievable. I'm sure you have often seen these steps with me before in the live stream, and they're gone. The pounding of the waves. So what chance do these little plastics have, you know? So let's get back to our theme. Faith in God reveals love. God, as he was discovered by his people, was recognized as a God of love, but that took a long time. That took a long time, and we're still maturing in understanding that love. But love cannot be without liberty, because we cannot be compelled to love. Love is proper to beings that are free. And liberty is essential. Now we're getting a little bit rocky here. This is going to be moving, okay? So just realize that. That's part of the context here. Love requires liberty. Otherwise, we're compelled, and that's not, and it's not love. We can't do anything else. We have to do that particular action. And liberty requires responsibility, because when I decide to do something, then I own the consequences. Obviously, I might be blind to some things, and then there are consequences that I didn't anticipate or want. So that's a factor that needs to be taken into account. And responsibility requires accountability. Because if somebody's given the responsibility to run a particular department, be it in the kitchen, just chopping vegetables, or if it's in a big company running the transport part of the company, or the logistics part of the company, or the data part of the company, or the publications part of the company, the communications part of the company, you know, if I have that responsibility, I need a freedom in order to carry it out, but I also need to be accountable. And accountability requires evaluation. And that's where then we have judgment. And we are free beings called to love. So judgment is part of the picture. And that's a very, very serious topic. And I don't think any of us are comfortable with judgment. And we're particularly uncomfortable when we see a judgment for our whole lives. Because maybe I didn't get a fair chance at education, or maybe somebody did me injustice, or maybe, I don't know, whatever, maybe. But at the end of the day, it comes down to love. And justice also then gives evaluation, and evaluations determine consequences and rewards. It's amazing truths of life that we love to escape, because they're pretty hard facts. But it's the reality of life. And at the end, then, love is powerfully rewarded by love. Already in the doing, when actions are done with love, there's already an amazing award, an amazing reward. Even if the person has not been helped sufficiently. But when the gift has been love the whole time, then there's already the person who has tried and given their best. There's a tremendously deep satisfaction inside the human heart and soul and mind. What's very uncomfortable in the long run is when we don't do our best, when we don't give it all, when we're mediocre. And then that's when we have mediocre feelings. That's when we're not satisfied. But there's a bigger field of love, which is the love of God. And he in his judgment is merciful. But it's still judgment, and it's still true, and it's still truth. And there's still evaluation, and there's still awards and rewards. And this is the teachings of Scripture. Just a little trivia today as we look at the gospel account of the predictions that the temple will be destroyed. And in the book of Revelation account of the harvest, take out the sickle and cut the clusters of grapes and gather them in for the winepress. A little trivia there is that the doors of the temple were decorated with clusters of grapes in pure gold, the size of human beings. This is what Flavius Josephus tells us, and he actually hung out here in Magdala in the rebellion against the Romans. He was the general in charge, and this is one of the pieces of data he gives us. The clusters of grapes will be gathered for the winepress. And the images that are used in the book of Revelation are very strong, and these words of Jesus about the end of the world are very strong. But they carry a great message of truth about our lives. And as much as we'd like to stick our head in the sand, like the legendary ostrich, and forget that there's a storm out there, this is the truth, and the truth sets us free. The Lord comes to judge the earth. This is the psalm. And we're living in a time of mercy. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. David's plea for mercy. Different thoughts, different ways to approach the readings today, people. God bless you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Today, let's appeal to God and His mercy, and to give us the strength to continue growing and to put out new branches of charity and kindness and goodness, to be a sunrise for somebody who needs a little light today that might be cloudy for them. To love with all your freedom, with all your responsibility, to love generously. And those who love generously don't need to fear the judgment. That total trust in God's mercy. God bless you, people. See you later, alligators.